Hey YouTube, today we're going to be rebuilding this Zama carburetor for this Echo handheld blower. And we got the carb kit here, and I got that at the mower shop today. And here's the carburetor. Numbers on this carburetor are C1U K78 S6I. Okay, and carb kit for this is RB-125 rebuild kit from Zama. It was $11.67 at my local mower shop. So first, what you're going to want to do is unscrew these two screws on the top, which will get you to remove this part, and then unscrew the two on the bottom also and remove this part. Next, just pull off this cover here, set that to the side. Here's a little diaphragm here. You're going to want to peel that off, and in this case it's going to be replaced, so we don't care about that. Then after that, there's a set screw right here. This one only has one of them's permanent, one is removable. This one usually has a red cap on it. You can just pull that off so it's easier to work with. Just pull it off with some needle nose pliers, just yank it off. It's not super easy, but it will come off. Then just make sure your throttle returns like that. Make sure it's not seized up, and then just take that screw all the way out. If you want, you can count the turns it has on it, so you can put it back how it was when you put it back in. But in this case, we're just going to reset it, and I'll show you how to do that after. So I'm just going to take it all the way out. There might be a washer in there. Make sure you don't lose any of that. Just keep it on there, and then just look all over. If it's super dirty, you can soak it in some carburetor cleaner like that. This one's not too bad, so we're just going to remove the needle in the seat just by removing that screw right there, that one, and then take out the little strainer that's right there. Take it out because we have another in the rebuild kit. Now we got our little screen out right here that came from right there, and here's the little spring for the needle in the seat. You can get rid of those pieces, just keep the little screw, and this is the set screw for the mixture. And now here's just the carb body. Just make sure that is get it as clean as you can get it by spraying it down with carburetor cleaner. You don't need too much, just try and make sure it's clean. It doesn't really matter too much on the outside, but you might want to clean that off so you don't get any of it on the inside, but just make sure everything on the inside is clean. You don't need to replace the little metal covers like that. They do come in this kit, but they're not necessary to replace, and they're kind of a pain to replace, so I just don't do it. Yeah, but I'm not going to be doing it on camera, but just spray everything down with some carburetor cleaner to clean it off. Wear eye protection when spraying carburetor cleaner, because if you get that stuff in your eyes, it will hurt for hours, and it can damage your eyes. Try not to get in your mouth too, and just keep it away from skin, because it can irritate your skin too. So if you do get it on yourself, try and wipe it off immediately, and if you have gloves, wear them while you're doing it. You can just set that to the side, and now start on your other pieces. You can separate all the pieces you're going to reuse and the ones you don't need if you want. This primer bulb has a little crack in it, so we need a new one of them. And just take the diaphragm and gaskets off here. Peel them off, and now you're going to need to clean this off pretty good. That piece, and then you can take this diaphragm off and get rid of that, and just clean this off too. This doesn't need to be super clean, but just clean it off. You can clean it with a towel if you want, and clean the tip of this needle too. Just let the carb body dry over there for now. First, grab your little screen. Okay, now it's time to rebuild the carburetor and put it back together. So after you have everything clean, just lay it out to dry right there. And we're gonna start on this side. So get your little screen and put it back in its hole right there. Not the old one, the new one. And find something that is about the same size as that little hole this little screwdriver is. If you use a screwdriver, don't press too hard. Okay, now get this piece, put it right there, get the little diaphragm, the gasket, and put it on top. Now get the diaphragm, put it on top of the gasket, and then this is kind of hard with one hand, so I'm not going to do it, but this just basically goes over here. You might have to hold the throttle a little bit open to get it on, like that, and you might need to hold it down. And put your primer bulb on top. Now that's a used primer bulb. Here's the old one, has a crack on top. This one doesn't though, so we're going to use that one. And put your cover on top, and then just screw it in with the two largest screws. Now we can put the needle in the seat, just the needle in. Needle goes right in there, new needle. This little lever, you take the little pin and put it through the lever. Spring goes on like that. And now this lever, you have to get it hooked into the needle and on top of the spring at the same time, then put the screw in so that it's something like that. And then put your screw right on in there and tighten it up. And after it's tightened up, just make sure it works good. And that seems to be good. You can measure that. Just needs to be the same height as the car body. Now grab the little diaphragm and that will go on top like that, and then the metering diaphragm, which is this part, goes on top of that like this. And after you put that cover on, just put in the screws. Now the last step is to put this little mixture screw back in. Just put it in, and you can screw it in either with a flathead screwdriver if it does have a slot in it, or a special tool that they make, but you have to buy that separately. It's about $6. And just screw it all the way in, and if you know how many turns it was out, then back it out at however many turns that is. Or if you want to reset it, just put it 1.5 turns out, and it should start up that way. Okay, now we set the screw 1.5 turns out, and we're just going to hook it back up to the blower. Just put the fuel lines on, throttle linkage, and put in the screws for the air filter. Here's the fuel line set up. This yellow one right here, it's the return line. If you can see down in there, one of them has a filter attached to it. The one that has a filter attached to it is the pickup line, and that's the black one. It goes to the bottom connector. The backflow line, the yellow one, goes to the top connector. And I had to replace the grommet on this also. The grommet was bad. This is the grommet. It's what the fuel line's going to and is connected to the tank. And it had holes in it and stuff just from storage. This thing was stored for like 2 years, I was told, with gas in it. And for 2 years, carb's not even that bad. This is the breather. If this thing's bad, you'll have to replace that. If anyone needs to know how to do that, just message me. This is the gasket that goes right here. Make sure this is in there. You need this. Just put it right there. And put it how it was when you took off. And then my throttle linkage fell out, so I have to take this whole front cover off to reconnect it now. Running good now, so call the owner of it to come pick it up and he can have it back. So the repairs on this was rebuilt the carb, new grommet, new fuel lines, replace the old stale fuel, and clean the carburetor. That's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.